Welcome to the Talkshow with Debby. Today, I'll be speaking about terrorism. Terrorism is the use or threat of violence and to seek to create fear among people, especially on the citizens of the country. We all know what terrorists is all about. And we know that we are facing terrorists in our country, and not only in our country, in other parts of the world. Terrorists are also there. But now, we all know the damage and how terrorism has affected a lot of people's lives. We are no longer safe again in our country, like I said in my last video. Most people are not aware what is going on in this country anymore. This is not a joke. When we have terrorists in the country, it means the country is weak. Yes, that is the truth. It means the government of the country is weak, and people are planning to take over the country. They want to use their to gain their political aim. Some people actually get involved in terrorism. Terrorism is not good in the country. We have Boko Harams, now we have bandits, we have so many things, we have bandits, we have kidnapping, we have robbery, and so on. All these are not good. But we all know the major causes of terrorism, that is poverty. I had said in my last video, I'm going to be speaking more broadly on this terrorism. Terrorism is not good in the country. It made the country go backward, and it made the country look big. People in the country lack freedom when we have terrorists. People in the country are unsafe when we have terrorists. We all are aware. I don't know if some people are aware what happened in Afghanistan. We are all aware of that. What happened in Afghanistan when the Taliban take over. Such can happen to Nigeria if measures are not being taken. If drastic measures are not being taken. So what are we saying? We know the causes of terrorism. Why don't you work on the causes? Why don't you prevent those causes that can cause more terrorists to grow up in the country? And the people we are even calling terrorists are citizens of the country. They're citizens of the country who grow up without having any knowledge, any idea of what the government is all about, planning on how to take over and do it in their own way, but it's not supposed to be so. Which is why the government must be strong, which is why the government needs to work on this, which is why the government needs to prevent this from happening. Lack of employment. Lack of employment is also causes of terrorism. When low people are being employed in the society, how do you want the ways to feed on? How do you want them to grow? They are being forced to do what they want to do. We have human trafficking, we have drug trafficking. Some people are into that because of lack of employment. So terrorism should be dealt with. Any country with terrorism, that country really needs to fight and prevent it, because for a terrorist to be in a country, it means that the country is going there. It means that the government of the country is getting weaker and weaker, more and more. So now, the government must do all they need to do to prevent this from happening. The government must need to do all they need to do to fight against terrorism. We can't have terrorists invading in our own country. We can't have terrorists making decisions from the government. There are some things that need to be put in place to fight against these terrorists, which the government must do. But nothing has been done. We have insecurity, we have poverty. Nothing. We haven't been able to, to fight against one of these. The government needs to put more effort, more extra effort in fighting this. Most of this is just caused by hunger. Yes. There are some minority ethnic group in some part of the state that they lack knowledge. Most of them are not educated. They are denied of their rights, so they don't know what to do. So they end up being a terrorist in their country. They become a threat to citizens. This is not the country we need, and this is not the country we want. This is not what we need. The government needs to work on this terrorism. It has affected a lot of us. Many people have been killed. Terrorists have killed a lot of people in Nigeria. Terrorists are still killing. We have the Boko Haram still holding our girls up to today. For 7 months. For 7 years, the Boko Haram are still only some part of our girls. Now I want to ask the question, do you believe those girls with the Boko Haram? The Boko Haram will have turned them to terrorists because the girls have lived with those people. They are living with terrorists. So what do you expect them to turn to? The government are not putting more effort in this. The government should put extra effort, extra time in fighting terrorism. Like I said earlier on, any country that has terrorists is a big country. And the country will never go, I'm sorry to say. The country will never go. Because we need to deal with terrorists. We need to prevent it. We need to fight against this. There shouldn't be terrorists. So most educated people end up becoming terrorists. When some of them, they don't have what to do, they don't have employment, what do you expect them to do? They end up becoming, they end up doing what they don't want to do. They are being forced to do what they don't want to do. They have no other choices. That is why the government must create more employment for people. The government, like the constitution, they say that education is for everybody, except for the ones who don't want to go. Except who don't want to go, but as long as education should be for everybody, and it should be for free for everybody. But the constitution that we have is not favoring the citizen. It's more of favoring the government, our president, our senate. But it's not favorable to us, the citizen. Why? It shouldn't be so. When the government needs to work on this issue, the government needs to take drastic measures on this issue. I believe that this country can become great. This country is a great country. If we do all we can, if we put more effort, more dedication, we need to do our best as a country. We need to put our effort, because what effort has been put in something, you will see the results. So the government should just sit down and hoping they should put more effort. More effort should be put into all this to help to fight and prevent terrorism in the country. And I believe that with the help of God, this terrorism of a team will be gone in our country. Thank you. Please watch my video and share to people. Thank you.